This is the Gorilla Beast, and this is the Vladimir the Crimson Reaper in-depth guide.
Go ahead, be negative. You'll be just my type.
In this in-depth guide, we will be talking about pros, cons, runes, masteries, summoner spells, combos, counters, laning phase, late game, and tips and tricks. Vladimir's passive is Crimson Pact. Every 25 points of bonus health gives Vladimir 1 ability power, and every 1 ability power gives Vladimir 1 bonus health. Vladimir's Q, Transfusion. Vladimir steals life from the target enemy. When Vladimir's resource is full, Transfusion will benefit massively increased damage and healing for a brief time. Vladimir's W is Sanguine Pool. Vladimir sinks into a pool of blood, becoming untargetable for 2 seconds. Additionally, enemies on the pool are slowed and Vladimir siphons life from them. Vladimir's E, Tides of Blood. Vladimir pays his own health to charge up a reservoir of blood, which then is released, deals damage in the area around him but can be blocked by enemy units. Vladimir's ultimate, Hemoplague. Vladimir infects an area with a virulent plague. Affected enemies will take increased damage for the duration after a few seconds. Hemoplague deals magic damage infected enemies and heals Vladimir for each enemy champion hit. Ability leveling sequence. Because Vladimir's Q is his main source of poke and lifesteal, and his E is an AoE burst damage, and you level up his W last because you won't really use it much in laning phase, only if you get ganked. Pros: great sustain, tanky in team fights, dominates most top laners, lots of AoE, has an escape, ranged auto attacks, good late game. Cons: bad early game, barely any CC for ganks and just in general, long W cooldown, gets bursted easily. For playing Vladimir, I always do magic pen reds, scaling AP yellows, scaling CDR blues, and AP quintessences. Masteries. The best masteries on Vladimir, in my opinion, are 18 Ferocity, doing 5 Sorcery, 1 Double-Edged Sword, 5 Vampirism, 1 Bounty Hunter, 5 Piercing Thoughts, and Deathfire Touch. Then 12 Resolve, doing 5 Recovery, 1 Tough Skin, 5 Runic Armor, 1 Perseverance. Summoners. For top, I do TP and Flash, and for mid, I do Ignite and Flash. If you want to be more aggressive though, take Ignite instead of TP top, be more aggressive in your lane. Counters. Vladimir is strong against Zed, Shen, and Singed. Vladimir is weak against Swain, Irelia, Xin Zhao, and Fiddlesticks. Combos. For 1v1, Vladimir is best using Alt, E, then Q, then W, finishing off with the E and Q. Vladimir's combos in teamfights are usually flashing, alting, using Sanguine Pool, or Tides of Blood, then Zonias. It really depends. If they're squishy, then you'd rather use Tides of Blood, or if they're a little bit tanky, or you don't think you can do that much damage to them, then using Sanguine Pool just so you can slow them. Now for the fun part, builds. For starting items, it's a good idea to either go 3 different starting items. Doran's Shield with a health pot, or you can get more sustain, and if you're going against a poke AD champion, then going Cloth Armor with refillable potion is good. For early damage and more poke, getting Amplifying Tome and a health pot is one of my favorite things to do on Vladimir. Alright, so the core build is of course Rylai's Crystal Scepter, Zonia's Hourglass, Spirit Visage, and Boots. Then you have a few other options after the core build. If you're going against a lot of AD, I recommend getting Thornmail and Randuin's Omen. Or you could just get one of the 2 options and get like Hextech Pro Belt or Liandry's Torment. Alright, so if you're going against heavy AP, then I recommend going Abyssal Scepter and Banner of Command, or getting one of the 2, then going with the Hextech Pro Belt 01 or the Liandry's Torment. Alright, so that's it for the build. Now comes the laning phase. For the laning phase, choose your starting item carefully, then play according to your lane opponent. You want to try to kill your opponent as much as you can. Remember not to tank any minion damage or you will lose the trade. If he pokes you, remember to use your Q to poke back and lifesteal. Make sure not to Q then get hit by his poke, or he won't sustain in lane. Late game. Alright, so for late game for Vladimir, he's very OP and is very good in team fights if you do the flash alt W-E Zhonya's combo. You can also clear waves very good with his E and W, especially if you have Luden's Echo. Alright guys, so here comes the tips and tricks. The tips and tricks for Vladimir. There's not too many tips and tricks for Vladimir, but there is one where you can go into the segment pull, then use E. And always use your E before your Q, because it gives you bonus healing, making the Q more potent. It also has a health cost that is immediately re-healed by the Q. And lastly, it is larger range, so you can use that to apply a slow from Riley's Crystal Scepter and catch back and use your Q again. Tides of Blood can hit invisible targets like Twitch, Shaco, or Teemo. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment so I can make more tutorials. See you at the next League of Legends guide. League of